E aí, Rondor, beleza? É Eduardo, né? Tudo certo?
It does eventually go down. 12 squads remaining here. And these guys are just going to slowly play this out, wait for that next rotation here with 10 seconds on the ring close.
Yeah, a bit of a bloody game so far. I did not expect this many teams to already be dead. But then again, rotating through Harvester, I'm pretty sure a lot of teams read the initial circles similar to how I predicted, because you saw a lot of teams dying on those rotations. And now we actually get us pulled south a little bit towards Dome, still a little bit in sorting. I think this is one that's catching a lot of teams off guard, and that's usually when a lot of teams get caught off guard. They tend to panic rotate a little bit, and this is how you see a lot of people just kind of all of a sudden like dying like this. There's a lot of real estate in this circle for a lot of teams to still be alive, but I think a lot of teams got caught in those rotations, not really sure where the circle is going to end. So this is definitely going to be a very interesting one for sure.
Absolutely, and more loot than we're used to seeing on the train there, certainly, as Myth finds a little bit of a gold mine, and they're going to be able to get potentially a few extra heals off, and right now, for the moment, be able to swap to perhaps some better armors as well. Things pulling here. I was wondering if we might pull a little bit.
E aí, galera, vamos lá.
This is kind
Tô
of
assistindo aqui a
weird
Global Series do
north of
campeonato do
Dome
Apex,
choke
né?
we often see, and that's where things are going to end. It's going to
Vamos ver.
create the most
Assisti pouco,
stress
depois eu vou jogar.
all
Ó.
the teams that were coming
Tá
from
que
that
nem louco
northwest,
aqui.
anyone that was still near Harvester, any of the teams, I can't remember exactly who it was that we saw gatekeeping, but anyone that who was playing the western part of Geyser actually is going to have a slightly easier route than the
Ixi.
north and northwest. We're now taking a look at Purge here, and they're going to have to fight
Tem nem como, os três, viu?
Purge going down in the feed as well. And like you said, Hotzik, teams are having to make particularly difficult pushes now to
E aí, Rondor, beleza? Como você tá?
so much interior space here. It's mostly sorting banana, and the rest is going to just be open along those tracks and the northern part of the dome exterior wall.
Yep, pretty much the team that's got it good right now is the team that's probably chilling in that RV south of sorting. Not the easiest place to hold necessarily, but in circles like this, again, you always have to take into account that there's a lot of teams dead when you don't expect it. It's usually because of an awkward circle pull that forced a lot of teams to rotate in ways they weren't comfortable. And the team that's in the RV now, I'm sure, is probably hard chill, and they probably only have to worry about maybe one other team around them, but they're probably, look to see them probably picking up a lot of kill points as the circle, I'm assuming, will pull a little bit more outside of sorting. So they're just going to be looking to rack up a lot of kill points, as all these teams are going to be fighting to just stay alive.
Absolutely, it's a great
Deixa eu fazer um negócio aqui,
an
que
area
não
of
dá
the map that you've
problema.
highlighted quite extensively in terms of your VODs views and areas. That RV that is just to the south, going to be a lot of opportunity, assuming a team is able to establish presence there. A lot of opportunity for a team to be able to hold that, as we're now taking a look forward just a moment, pretty close to that area here. This is a little bit further east, but we're still looking at the damage that can come in here just from the north of that dome choke.
Yeah, pretty much every team here that's on the south end of the circle, they all know what's going to happen. Look at all those players that are in sorting. Yeah. All of these teams that are on the southern end of the circle might call it a treaty for now. They're all going to be looking at, in 1 minute when this circle closes, they are all going to be looking for kill points on those teams scrambling to just rotate it. Because a lot of these teams, we don't hear it right now, a lot of these teams I'm sure right now in sorting are probably calling to just play for kill points, because that's all you can do. They know there's a lot of teams around them, it's a death rotation.
Absolutely. CHMK is actually getting pushed here. Two players are going to go down, and now there's at least a third party, so I believe that's going to be now just Rugby alive and Wraith for CHMK as we take a look in the feed, and that might be it for them. Yes, CHMK.
O cara que matou mais matou 3.
Got pushed by at least 2 squads, but just as fast as we say
Campeonato pessoal tudo fica escondido.
as they are fighting and looking pretty good in the way of all three on purple shield. So going to try to play this one out and try to get into the late game as well. Myth is our European number 2 right now, but not in our top 5 so far after 2 games.
Yeah, and Myth definitely a strong winner. I believe OT4 winner might be OT5. So many of these OTs, I'm starting to lose track of them. But yeah, they're going to keep the RV team busy, but Myth definitely needs to make sure that they are keeping aware of their north side here in the next coming seconds. So they actually might get pinched by both teams scrambling from the north and the team in the RV. Now that little truck in front of them is in, but it's not a lot of cover from a lot of. They can still get
Os
shot from
caras
a lot
estão
of
usando
different angles,
flatline,
so
flatline,
they're
né?
gonna have to keep a lot of eyes open on this.
Tô gostando também, tá muito boa. Você consegue
Absolutely.
quebrar
Gotta
muito
be very
fácil,
careful
shield.
here, and like you said, not a lot of room to play with for these teams, but still 9 squads left in the game, and we're still waiting here.
Agora que colocou?
Momentarily are going
Ah,
to be
tá
the ones that
esperando
are
carregar,
forced
deve.
out of sorting. If anyone still has each little nook and cranny, they are now making that rotation. It's going to be happening right above Myth, actually, and this is an example. It's
E
going to
trouxe
be
pro,
Jilly,
ó.
VP, very little left in gold armor.
Morreu.
And actually, I was going to say, right when he drops down, this should be it for him. He's expecting to drop
Ficou parado pra morrer.
and he will go down. That will be VP exiting. Now 8 squads left, just like that 7, as Cooler goes down in the feed as well. Now here's Myth. Somehow only Amaz is the one left here, as we do see a teammate going down. Needs to be careful. Dome is out as well from Sharp, so he's going to try to throw down some shots, maybe get a little bit more cover from the track as well. Going to try to get this finish. The teams are still flying in from that sorting area. Here's going to be a fast
Morreu.
coming in from us.
Sorte.
Yep, like I said, this is a death rotate. I'm sure most of those teams are just playing for kill points right now, just trying to get whatever they can, whatever placement high or whatever 1 kill point they can get now. Now that the dust
Cagada, mano. Os caras, os
the
mitos
team in the RV are going to be going back at it again with a little rivalry, because now this next circle, these two are going to be clashing immediately with each other. So it's important that they take each other out as Gibraltar goes down here with Goat Kraber.
Yep, needs to be careful here. It's just Amaz.
Arbok, não tem arma, né?
They are the ones that were holding RV here, and they are just going to hold this ground, trying to rack up as many KP and placement points as they can. Poking outside though on the team shot. Actually, it's going to go down. That's going to be Mondi who goes down to maybe able to pick up that on the push.
Outro squad foi embora.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, it was Triumph and 5 squads left there. Gambit going down.
5 squads faltando.
As well. Still
Morreu.
trying to push over across this area.
Tiro já era.
Is going to be limitless.
Já era.
Trying to make something happen from the tracks. They cannot. 4 squads left.
Mid saiu. Ah não, tá aí.
I think 3 of them are on this side of the circle too. I think only
cara.
one. I'm guessing there's only 1 squad in the actual zone, which is interesting. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean,
Game,
people that are comfortable,
os caras jogam bem,
party, all these other teams that are just trying to make it in.
O que vai fazer, mano?
Hardeki doing a
Morreu.
little crazy bit of a rat play. This works out. He can actually get a lot of
Nossa, o cara pegou spot da hora. Ih, vai ganhar por causa disso, eu acho.
On GSD, it's just going to be Strafe as well as Nask and Kel is out. So it's going to be them fighting against these last
Tá lá ainda?
2 players go down from Myth though, so this could be our final moment of this game. Great shot there, wing, and a crack here from Strafe, but nothing on the finish. They're not able to get the angles that they were hoping for. Still 3 squads remain, and we do know that we still have a rat up top as well.
Tem rato no topo, eles não sabem.
They are getting pushed here, and what could
Nossa, a Eva tá tensa, hein?
Strafe will go down. Can Nasky make something?
Já foi?
Now picked up the one. Looks like
Já era.
here he will eventually go down. Yes, indeed. Take a look at Hardeki up top. Clearly, GD not having
O game a gente vai ganhar, mano.
game. He gets the cracks. They're going to drop down. Should be able to finish this, and might only have a gold res to finish if he's able to get this kill. Good damage still coming in. Several reloads on the 301, and I think this is going to be a Gambit 1v1 here. Can he get the win here? Gets the break. Should be able to.
Oh, falei que Gambit ia ganhar. Aí sim, mano. Que sério.
With the win, one of the best moments we have seen in ALGS play in a while. What a moment from Hardeki. You and I were both thinking the same thing. I heard you say it. As soon as that zip got him into that notch, he was in a good place to close out that game.
And it was the perfect, I mean, it was insanely smart.
Cara tá zoado.
If you guys, if everyone caught it, but as that circle was closing, he actually there was a team in between him and that zip. He actually rotated behind them into the zone to get to that zip. He just said, screw you guys, you have fun fighting over there. I'm gonna hit the zip. He gets into that nook, and the most perfect script was laid out for him. A very, very sloppy fight on the remaining 2 teams down there. Basically, laid it out for him to win the game beautifully. I mean, that was just such a smart play. Which I knew he was gonna lock in second when he was in that little nook, but to see him actually pull out the win on that too, really just insane heads-up play.
Absolutely timed it perfectly, like you had said. and then able to not only win the
Você tá falando que o cara fez um negócio
flow,
insano.
like you said,
Conseguiu
they were
jogar
sloppy.
de
We
perto
did
e
not see
pegar um
the
spot
sign
da hora.
of Myth finishing those kills together. That opened up the
E
opportunity
aproveitou a
for Europe
oportunidade no
to
finalzinho da fight dos
win
caras
that
pra
1v1.
pegar.
Guys, it was a great game number 3 for Europe, and of course, lots more action to come. To break down that last one, let's go ahead and throw over to our analysts.
Thank you so much, Bravo and Hodzic. And wow, what a finish. I almost wish you could have had Jayla in my comms live as we were screaming at the fact that Hardeki some way survived on the very last tick on that zip line and then perfectly gets placed into a rock and an edge. We're screaming there's no way that he's possibly going to win this game as he rats his way to a
Vocês não
first
estão
place finish. Typically, he'll rat your way to a second place finish, but he's able to rat his way to a first place finish with a clutch 1 versus 2 at the end. Jayla, your thoughts, your reactions?
That was actually like unbelievable. 10,000 IQ. I think that when the last two teams were fighting, they were like, oh, maybe there's somebody with like a gold knockdown. They weren't thinking it was like a person ratting in the side of the wall. That was actually insane. I would say that was probably my favorite thing that I've seen today.
Undoubtedly. Hands down the best thing I've seen. I think that was probably my favorite thing I've seen in any Apex Legends Online tournament. The craziest finish I've seen. Typically, again, we've never seen a rat like that who's hiding and just trying to survive as the last member alive, waiting for their team to finish. Usually you survive to a second place finish, but he's able to perfectly time the third party. Looks like the final moment is ready. Let's go ahead and take a look at those last moments right there.
Vamos mostrar de novo.
Gambit is able to have a much needed clutch. He's just teeing off right now, recognizing I can do damage and I can contribute to this fight. Finally, Nasty Strafendel go down, and it leads into 1 versus 2. He knocks one, drops perfectly. That's exactly how you...
Ele derrubou e voltou. Ele desceu pra ajudar. Pra ajudar não, pra finalizar um. Aí viu outro cara stun, finalizou ele. Vixe, que tiro foi esse? Nem sei. Absurdo.
I can only imagine like what's going through his head when he's 1v1ing that Watts and he's like, dude, I could win this game. Like that has to be the best feeling, like knowing you got that far for your team.
Vai ser louco, não. Ele falou que devia estar passando na cabeça dele naquela hora que ele vê que tá ele e a Watson sozinho.
One of the two things, but something tells me Hardecky's been doing it for a while on this Gambit squad. Gambit's won a championship before. Something tells me he was calm, cool, and collected. I mean, I can't believe what we saw right there in terms of how things finished. A big, big win for Gambit overall. As we're looking at the standings.
Grande jogo da Gambit, conseguiu aproveitar o momento, né? Eu falei, eu chutei.
We'll get those standings ready as soon as we can. North got second place as it was Hardeki able to win the 1 versus 1 against North. Nasty Strafendel, 7-kill, third place finish. So again, we see some play from Nasty Strafendel, but finally it's one of our teams to watch that come out on top. It's Gambit Esports that we identified early on. Here are the results overall. 18 points for them. North with an 18-point game as well, so it looks like they're going to split a first-place finish. Nasty Strafendel right behind them with 14 points, and then Myth, a team that we've talked a lot about, that's won a tournament in the past, one of the most consistent teams throughout the entirety of our first 6 online tournaments. They're going to pop off with a solid game number 3 and a 4th-place finish, but they didn't do much in games 1 and 2, so they're going to need a huge pop-off game in 4 and 5 if they want to come out on top. We're, of course, going to jump into the standings as soon as we have them for the overall standings to see where that places everybody. But again, a crazy finish for Gambit Esports. Let's go ahead and take a look at the overall standings as well. And in the end, it is Nasty Strafe and Dell in first place. Thanks to their consistent play, they're going to sneak past Team Purge and have a first place finish. But didn't play, they're going to sneak past Team Purge and have a first place finish. But look at this, Jayla. From first place all the way down to 7th place, only 11 points total separate these teams. This is anyone's game.
It actually is anyone's game. These are probably my favorite types of games to watch because you never know until the last game, like who is going to take the win.
That's so true. Last time around, we saw CHMK really dominating throughout. I mean, it was like a 3-man race to see, or a 3-team race to see who could come out on top. This time around, it is a 6 or 7 team race after 3 games to see who can come out on top. And the teams that are leading are not the teams we're used to seeing. You know, we talk about the Cinderella story. I wouldn't call Nasty Strafendel a Cinderella team by any means. They've been playing consistently. They've been qualifying and getting top 10.
Não dói, vou jogar assim, daqui a pouco, mas jogar o Apex ou o Valorant. Acho que o Valorant tem atualização de 500 por exemplo.
The young man from
Deixa eu ver.
Scandinavia who's so incredibly confident in himself and his team. He approaches every game so well, learns from each game. Can this be the one? Can this be the tournament where Nasky, Strafe, and Dell finally secure a top 2 or top 1 finish? That's the question. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights from game number 3. There are quite a few highlights. Jayla, I know you were telling me about some mid-game fights that went down between CHMK and Major Pushers. We'll see if we get the highlights here. And then also between Navi and SJP2. Here was a fight early on between SJP2. Walk me through it.
Vixe.
Yeah, this was like right. They were on the train. They actually had set up on the train and stopped the train in front of Navi, so it was pretty interesting. Unfortunately, Navi did get third party on the train after the fight by Purge, but this was one of the more interesting like fights that I've seen.
Nem sabia, velho.
Undoubtedly, and you mentioned when we were chatting earlier too. You're not sure if you would have.
Pra mim tava funcionando. Tem que acessar aqui.
Yeah, I definitely would have chosen to set up on the
Pra mim
train.
tava aberto ainda.
It worked out well for Purge.
Você vai jogar, Alex?
Beyond the Purge, just posting up. We all know how that one ended. 1 versus 1. He's playing his cover, he's playing his angles, he's playing his reloads and timing.
Rodrigo saiu, tava online, agora tá mais, parece.
Boom. It's the last wingman shot he needs to hit. What a clutch play. That one has to go down for the ages as one of the most clutch and best plays we've seen in Apex since the infamous play from Ksania in Poland where he clutched that 1v3. I don't know if it was as dramatic as that, but still, a 1v2 clutch from Hardeki, a big clutch as well. And I'm sure you remember that play from Ksania back in Poland. This definitely ranks up there.
For sure, that was
Crazy
definitely one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, agreed. That's what Apex is known for. Nothing but great moments.
Verdade, Valorant. Isso aí.
You have to be as clutch as it possibly gets in those late game fights with so many teams at bat. Looks like we have a tweet from Alliance.
Não tô conseguindo acessar, não.
Support their group. Let's go ahead and take a look at Alliance here. Supporting their squad. Let's go. Hashtag ALGS Online Tournament number 6. Grand Finals are live. No man gets left.
Você viu o que o cara fez aqui, Alex?
With the caustic meta team.
Meu Deus.
Arguably one of the top teams in the world.
O cara conseguiu pegar a zipline,
Big shout out
foi lá em
to
cima no
Alliance
spot
GG and the Alliance Esports organization.
e
I know
matou.
you love yourself some caustic meta as well, Jayla.
I wouldn't say I love it.
Vamos jogar então?
I'm excited to see it. I
Love to
definitely
see it.
don't like playing against Caustic, but I like that they're changing things up and people are gonna have to play differently because of it.
Yeah, that's a good call. It changes up the meta, shakes things up a little bit. That's what you like to see. And honestly, right now is probably the healthiest. And a big shout out to my man, the EMEF on Twitter. We've been chatting, put together some great materials for the talent team. We were chatting. He said this is like the healthiest Apex Legends meta in terms of legends we've seen. A variety of different comps. You see 2 teams running Caustic, Major Pushers and Alliance, multiple Gibraltar teams, multiple Pathfinder teams, and so on and so forth. So very, very healthy meta right now, and that's what you love to see. That's for sure. Let's go ahead and take a look into the overall summer circuit, which you guys have heard was recently announced. The Apex Legends Summer Circuit and Super Regionals schedule will be starting on June 21st. So starting June 21st, things are going to be shaking up quite a bit. We're going to be moving to the Super Regionals. Regions are going to be combined, and we're going to have more of a narrative and a story as teams that get top 10 from each regional will automatically qualify for the second regional, and so on and so forth. Teams over time will be earning ALGS points and will be earning a qualification spot for the playoffs. It'll be later on towards the end of the summer. So a lot at stake with the summer circuit. Make sure to check out the details in the playbook. We're excited and gearing up for the summer circuit coming up here on June 21st to kick things off. We are getting ready for gameplay, about a minute away from gameplay starting. Make sure to tweet at us using hashtag ALGS. Would love to hear your thoughts. Your tweets can be featured at Fallout with 2 T's, at Ninjala. We'd love to hear your thoughts throughout, and we can read some of your tweets and check it out. I'll be checking Twitter here in just a moment. Of course, make sure to follow at Play Apex. All things Twitter, social media, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. It looks like we are getting ready to throw to our casters who are
Tá comendo, na hora que você acabar você avisa aí.
number 4. Let's go ahead and send it over to
Eu vi sim,
It's going to be Onset and
O
Jamerson.
brasileiro ganhou, né?
So game 4 is almost ready, Jameson, and I'd say we've probably got about 7 or 8 teams who are still very much in the hunt in here for potentially picking up online tournament number 6 as a championship. But we have to give huge credit there to Gambit Esports and the way that they closed out that game. A huge individual play by the Wraith to somehow come out of that sneaky position. I've never seen that one before. Something maybe just kept up the sleeve. Online tournament.
Quem viu alguma coisa assim foi.
That's absolutely correct, especially with the position that North were holding. Generally speaking, that is a very strong position, but for different circles. But we had an amazing pull over to the eastern edge of that
Começar.
ring. A lot of teams were expecting, you saw the positioning coming out from a lot of teams taking the southern flank, or basically a lot of these positions south of Harvester, west of Sorting Factory, but North just had the read. They were in a prime position to win that out, but Gambit able to clutch it. That was huge.
Deixa eu ver o negócio.
A huge clutch from Gambit Esports means they have now moved up to 3rd place in the overall standings so far. They're sat on 28 points. The teams who are in front of them, Team Purge on 33, and Naski, Strafe, and Dell with a strong finish in that last game, top of the leaderboard at the moment on 34. But we can go all the way down to 9th place, I believe, here, where we have Myth on 16 points, and you know how many points you can accumulate with a decent finish, with a decent KP game. So you have to say there's still, like we always talk about, real room here for all these teams to move around and make a run in this game number 4.
Yeah, without one team just dominating the lobby and just kind of running the table, it's great to see that we do have a very spread out kind of spread points right now. As yeah, like you said, all the way down to 90, even with Myth down there with 16 points, with 2 games left, there is a huge window for a lot of teams to just have massive games to really bring this back and put themselves in contention for top 3.
And we'll certainly be keeping our eyes out as well here on World's Edge for any of those teams who potentially run into each other.
Tudo espalhado.
An early battle of rotation, because as we
Só
say,
2 times estão
points to make up
próximos.
here. One thing you can do is if you have an opportunity to potentially get in
Muito
fight with
próximos, no
one of
caso.
those teams who's in a position who's ahead of you in the leaderboards, and you can take them down.
O
Not only is
resto,
that points
de
for
boa.
you,
Ixi,
but you're
olha,
restricting massively your opponent's opportunity to extend their lead. But just looking at this second circle,
Fechar.
we can see from the Pathfinder beacon,
Estação
looks like Thermal
termal.
Station is once again going to be a hub of activity in our game number 4.
Yeah, and this is one of those circles that somehow the second one even continues to pull further down to the southwest. So it leaves the possibility of having that pocket in the southwest open, but I imagine a lot of teams are really going to try and fight over the main tower and thermal station proper. That's where you can fight for a lot of kill points, and I think that's what teams need to kind of prioritize at this point. The kill points are going to be the major difference maker, regardless of placements.
The SJP2s currently starting their looting over here in Skyhook. They're going to have a heck of a trek on their hands to get across the map to where that end circle is going to be. But I just want to highlight the importance of the Pathfinder. We talk about it a lot, and that passive, you know, being able to use the beacon to get that information. Even with the nerfs that we saw to the grapple, and, you know, there was a lot of discussion over, you know, was it too much for Pathfinder? Is he going to be as viable as he previously was? The reason we still see him so vital in the competitive game, if you compare that first circle that we saw that encapsulated so much of the map still, in comparison to the Pathfinder beacon giving that second circle on the map, you can see why it is so vital, why it is still such a big part of these teams' compositions moving forward in competitive play.
Yeah, a lot of the major change now with that 35-second cooldown on his grapple is just that you have to understand what kind of fight you're getting into, as grappling into a fight is now a whole full-on commit into one. And so you gotta realize, hey, this is a fight that we have to win. We have to go in and you send that Pathfinder in. No longer does he have the capability to get into a fight, take some damage, do some damage, and get out. So it's just more about committing to fights at this point.
I mean, me and Reindeer were having a conversation just in the break there while we were watching the previous game about how maybe the use of Pathfinder has changed simply because of that cooldown. It's almost as if you have to be so much more resourceful with when you are going to use that grapple that you almost become more of a unit as a team when you have that extended cooldown on the grapple, just because of the fact that you don't have, like you mentioned, the ability to not only get in and out of a fight. You kind of have to choose now, am I going to commit to a fight, or am I going to use it as an escape mechanism to survive and stay alive to fight another day?
Speaking of commitment, it looks like Triumph will be choosing this building to the northern side of Thermal Station. I do like this. There are 2 major choke points that they're going to be cutting off to their northwest and along with their northeast. And so they're going to be playing for those kill points. A lot of teams will be rotating in from the north-hand side. It's Myth that'll be taking the Rotunda, taking some damage as they make their way in.
Taking some damage, and Myth currently sat in 10th place with 16 points to their name, but in a pretty comfy position here, you have to say, in this dome building in this Thermal Station. So they're going to be pretty set up for the next couple of ring missiles that rotate, and again, just showing how vital that Pathfinder beacon is, and now we're going to be jumping on board with Purge to see where they're set up. And I mentioned earlier, I think it was in game number 1 or it's game number 2, excuse me, how they love to rotate early and how they love to kind of use that early game meta that we saw, you know, getting into those early spots, trying to set up for that end circle. And once again, they've managed to get an early rotation. Again, not with the greatest armor, we might have to reiterate once again, but they're in a position here to last out till the end game.
Pessoal, já tá tudo na safe.
Soon right now, the bulk of the action is going to be taking place
Os outros
to
estão
the
tudo
west
fora.
eastern edge, excuse me, as we do have Red
Tem
popping out of that.
aqui 2, 3 squads fora só. São tudo dentro da safe 2 já.
As Nasky, Strafe, and Dell currently sitting in first place.
So that not could change things very significantly here. We'll have to see that they are able to get the res off and able to get back into the game. We've seen some huge plays already with players managing to get the res off on 2 players when they only had 1 alive and coming back to play second in the game. So even though you do get a knock early on, it doesn't mean it is the be-all and end-all as far as how you play the game and how you try and approach this game.
I agree with you there. Yeah, I agree with you there, but I do have to note that Nasky, Strafe, and Dell are one of those teams, you know, they drop central and they play for that center circle. Their rotates are some of the fastest. They really try to emulate, of course, teams like TSM, who share a drop path with them. And so this is really going to put a wrench in the works for them at this point. If they do try to go for that res, that's going to slow them down. They're a team that heavily relies upon their macro and getting to the late game just by having that first initial position and not having to move.
Well, let's see if it does affect them as we see. Around 1 minute 45, we're going to see a knock here actually coming on PJ here from BP as well. So you see the portal out almost immediately by Taylor, trying to get into a position where he can get through that portal and maybe try and get that res off and escape to live another day. But even though we are seeing these early knocks, still 20 squads remaining. As I say that, it's actually going to be the X-Click Esports team moving in onto BP and getting nice and aggressive, taking down 2 of the players now. But oh my word, that portal was bad news. At the end of that, Watson traps and the barrel of a gun. So although this looks like initially a clean fight, it looks like BP are living to survive another day.
X-Click should have known better there than to chase after a Watson through the portal. They should have been happy with getting that 1 kill point off of Pija and back away. Because even if they were able to clean this up, they might have been in a bad position with teams all around them here at Thermal Station in the center of the circle. That was, I would say, a huge misplay coming out from X-Click.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, we all know when we're playing ranked and we kill 2 and we see the portal and the last player running away, you kind of joke to yourself, I'm taking portal, because you know it's a bad decision, but you're going to do it anyway, right? But this is competitive play. This is game number 4 of online tournament number 6, and mistakes like that, well, you can see what the results are here for the X-Click Esports teams. It means that Yuki is the only player alive trying to hold down this high ground, and with this being such a power position and him being the only player alive, being the Watson, at least he can get some fences up to at least, you know, fortify his position slightly. But if the team realizes that's a solo, I don't think he's going to be longed up there for too long.
I completely agree with you with that position. Now that makes realizing where their original position was, I feel like that was a huge misplay. They had a power position where they could have been playing for the kill point. Anyhow, regardless, they didn't have to chase after them. It was going to come to them right now. But Maliwan now trying to make this push. We saw this earlier.
Major rush into the team that we're watching, trying to use that caustic to be aggressive, but one of his team does get knocked here, and now he is going to be the last player alive. And although they're major pushers, they're the ones who are getting pushed back at the moment as he's trying to do as much damage as he can. He manages to get 1 knock, and he's looking for the KP.
Nossa, conseguiu. Muito bom, muito bom.
Caustic manages to turn things around there in what looked like a terrible situation to get KP on the board.
Cara, joga bem.
Also, one of his teammates here in the game.
Now they might be getting third party. There is a team, never mind. Ida is going to be forced away here as we saw that fight taking place just to the right of them. And now there's going to be an opportunity for them to try and stabilize. Ida pushes forward with his battery.
Battery is going to be popped. You can see his teammates are going to have to pop some meds as well to get back up to a full complement of HP. But it looks like they're happy with their position that they've managed to force their way into here. So the Watson Gen will go down. It looks like they're just going to take their time to stabilize. But as I say that, Pathfinder Zip is going to go out, and that looks like it could be a step into trouble here. It looked like they thought this building might have been free, but there's a team actually sat in the other building who are just lighting them up at the moment as they try and traverse across the ground. We've got to be careful here. It looks like a secondary decision has been made here to try and move past that team. And then restabilize here by the crates.
I love what's going on. That was Malawan's team that were peppering away at them. They were still trying to get the res, and coming out now, they're going to be able to get Ranches back into this right next to the loot as well. And so this is going to be a huge stabilization effort coming out from them, as we do see the Wraith getting back on in. So I love that they're posturing aggressively here.
Yeah, trying to be aggressive, getting that Gibby bubble up as well. And if you can sneak in, you can see there's plenty of loot laying on the floor as well for him to pick up. So not only is that just a big res in itself, the fact that he managed to land on a building with plenty of loot around means that this Wraith Ranches is going to be able to get back into the game and be a real influence as this game moves on.
We're back on board with Tinku, Nook, and Ida here, who are playing the lower position. So a lot of action taking place on the northwest side of this ring right now. They do have the Gibraltar bubble going down. Remember, it did get nerfed, and so the opportunity, the window to try and attack this, it is about to open.
Ryan's going to have those thermites out as well, but he's going to get knocked almost immediately, and it's going to all fall down to the Watson player here, as we see them trying to portal away, and it looks like he's going to just try and bail out of this situation, get to the other end of this portal, maybe look to get a res off, but it looks like those players will finish. Unfortunately, he's going to be stuck in between a rock and a hot place with that lava, trying to get the battery off just to survive for a few more moments, but his job is to try and get some sort of placement points on the board, but you just feel like sometimes you're not long for this world anymore. He'll be taken down, and now we're down to just 18 squads in the game.
And we're just seeing the excellent display of teams that realize what are the positions that we can play for, where we can safely try and go for KP. We even saw VP actually getting in on that. Right now, though, we're on board with AHG, who are able to take out 2 members of Cooler here. The bubble's going to go down.
AHG in this battle and currently sat right down at the bottom of the table, just 4 places above bottom spot, just 7 points, which is always a surprise to see as we approach game number 5, with just one more game ahead of us. So they're going to have to put in some big performance here. Alliance as well. You can look at the armors, absolutely loving life at the moment. 2 purples and a gold on the Wraith there, Hackis. And we're going to have the triple take in hands here for IPN, trying to just hit some shots on these players who are trying to rotate away. Not going to be doing huge damage, but certainly going to be...
Nossa, quase. Mais tiro derrubava.
On the front line, getting decent damage off with that wingman, but again, he does have that gold armor, so he'll be able to get a sell off as they make this push.
Yeah, and we're going to see the caustic being effective as well, trying to throw those barrels into the bubble, and just looking at that Gibby, and you kind of feel for him at this point. He's got the bubble up, the defenses are going to be taken down almost immediately. Alliance team shots here, but it's going to come down to IPN with a 1v1, but they get taken down almost immediately, and the team who managed to do it are Ad Hoc Gaming. I said that they needed big performances from big players in this game. They managed to do it in the initial fight, but if they can get the res off, so careful. The third party is coming in almost immediately, and Kuya now only 10 feet to his name is desperately just trying to get out of dodge. They won the initial battle with Jameson, but unfortunately with the ring closing and the area available for teams to be set up on, the third party is always going to be a viable option to come in and clean that up.
I said that AHG are excellent about taking these isolated fights, but we understand how many teams are here on the northwestern edge of this circle to try and gatekeep, to try and get involved in these third parties. With the fight taking so long, and of course with the Gibraltar going down, they didn't have the reset mechanic to get back into this. And so Na'Vi, realizing exactly what had happened in that position, were able to push off of that, and they're going to be the ultimate victors in this battle. Now AHG looked like they had an opportunity to try and claw up the leaderboards, but Claws is not going to allow that to happen.
So Na'Vi then laying claim to this position, like you said, picking up some KP along the way as we jump aboard SAP2 here, set up at the very southwestern area of this circle, and it's going to be closing. They're on the slow side though, so they don't have to make too many bold decisions as far as their rotation is concerned. Right now with 20 seconds left, they can look for that spot and try and move in the last second, possibly even walk it in. Don't have to waste any of the ultimate or the expenses of the race to try it and get across the map. But Na'Vi now, once again, trying to be aggressive. The player pushed up, trying to put some pressure on the team that is in that building with Faizu and Claws trying to back him up. And it's going to be the Caustic team again who are going to have those defensive battles to try and push that team back. And that's the difficulty there, shown perfectly how difficult it is.
Sei não, esse squad tá bem agora, eu acho. Eles vão ganhar. Do Kraus, Maliwa, o Ranches e o Clips.
as teams are positioned
Yeah,
for the next ring, and I got a glimpse of it for a second. There we go. It's going to pull down to the south side of Thermal Station. And so this is a very heavy pull, but there are a lot of great positions that, of course, you can play. There are the Thermal Station playground platforms to work with on the south, along with a building and a number of rocks that you can play there on the south.
And it is a playground when you got a Pathfinder. But at this moment, I don't think any of these teams are willing to be playing too much with their positions on the map. It's 16 squads now remaining. You can see more knocks going down as the Outsiders is going to pick up one down there onto Zanma. And now we're going to see a little bit more posturing as that circle has closed. A minute 50 on ring at number 4 before that encloses. And that's where we're going to see a lot of battles going down as the room on the map is evaporating quicker and quicker and only leaving certain teams with areas to try and hold down.
Now SJP2 with 2 gold armors. They're playing on the western edge here, and this is the very heavy pocket that a lot of teams play for as soon as they see the first circle pulling over to Thermal Station. So they're going to have a very slow side of the circle to work with as they're trying to make this push. They know they have to clear out this team. They want any chance of surviving into the next circle. SJP2 have been getting into a lot of mid-game fights. We've been seeing them so far. Their positioning has been great, but it's been about really closing it out and making sure they transition through the mid-game.
SJP2, the team we're looking here, and Navi once again trying to get aggressive, but dipping into trouble there, and now hitting armor. He's just going to be on 8, trying to land some shots as well to help out his race there. 9M2 trying to
Olha, esse cara da Navy é bom.
Damage from the R301 is significant.
Morreu.
Even though he's desperately trying to stay alive here, they cannot get those KP down, even with the amount of damage.
Morreu? Nossa.
Ooh, I thought Claus was going to go down for a split second. He only took 1 tick of ring damage there, but we're seeing how difficult it can be to try and transition from that northern side. The sight lines are so clear for a lot of teams right now as they're able to just get some free damage off. We see a lot of teams holding positions, especially with the G7 Scout, which is what we're hearing a lot of currently. Now back on board with SJP2. Don't know if they were able to clear out this house to their east. But again, they do have the slow side of the circle, but the ring is closing now. They need to come up with something.
Well, let's see how they come up with something. We have the opportunity now to jump into the team's comms of SJP2.
Porta postawili.
No, od razu postawił ten, w środku ten, pralkę rozstawiaj, żeby leczyła.
Wchodzę.
Wchodzę też. Oni tam mogą stać.
Pomagają nam inne teamy.
Oni będą bić nas do końca.
Inne teamy nam pomagają.
Ja tam podejdę i wrócę najwyżej.
Uważaj, żeby ci z domku, żeby nie
będzie
walecie.
zostawać.
Leci. No wróć tu. Tu jest wratka jakaś,
Kus.
kraku. Patrzmy tych. Tu jest wratka, biegną. 0 wratka. 0 mają, w dwójkę.
Wszyscy się wybijają.
Będą bić nas teraz. Będą zbić. Przyjdą są.
Dałoby się to podjechać.
Nie, no właśnie my nie damy rady.
Ci w domu są trochę w piździe, oni tam stoją.
Patrzcie na tych, nie patrz tych domków, bo ci nas biją. No to leży!
Nice, dobić trzeba.
Oni tam się biją, oni się tam biją chyba.
Dobita.
Dobili.
Plecy dostajesz.
Ile lajta macie?
Ja nie gram lajta
100.
chyba.
Zlepiej się tak 40.
Mieliśmy portal? Pikują.
Esse squad de vez tava o Pathfinder, tava o
So you heard the
Bota.
comms there from SJP2 as they made their way in from that rotation. Jameson, I was going to ask what you thought of them, but if you're anything like me, I only speak one language and I'm pretty poor at translating.
Well, inflection says a lot at that point, but even then, very difficult. But I like that they were able to find this position here, of course, at the crates and keeping their attention to the north because that's where a lot of teams are funneling in. Throughout all that fight, I was actually watching
Cadê o time do cara da...
observers. Navi still struggling with that team that were up to the north. Mali one they end up all going down to the ring, and that's what happens if you're not able
Esse
to
era o squad forte, no
position
caso. Mas...
coming out from Malawan and company. It slowed down the fight so much that both teams ended up hurting from it now.
Well, SJP2 are making a big push in here, and the first thing they try and do is take down that Watson ult to make those grenades as effective as possible. Unfortunately for them, the defensive Gibby ult comes in to try and counteract that, and that team got Scarper away and managed to escape. They managed to get some heals off here, but now you're really seeing the action start to pick up in this game. 9 squads remaining.
Ô louco, o spawn.
Trying to finish off this fight, and it's going to come down to the Watson to try and clutch up. Jellycorn trying to stay alive. The ring is going to be doing damage, but somehow he manages to just escape at the last second. Can he win the 1v1 here against the Wraith? No, he cannot. The stealth press is there, but it will be taken out in the last few seconds here. And somehow Gambit Esports and Hardeki once again clutching up in a vital moment here for Gambit.
What a tragedy. Take a look at Hardeki.
Here for Gambit.
Vai
What
game.
a tragedy. Take a look at Hardeki. He did so much damage with the flatline, but he survives with 1 HP. When you look at the VODs, you're not going to be happy with that one. There's so many gold armors that he has to contend with. So
não levantou, separava e levantava. Ficou marcando.
13 teams remaining, or excuse me, 13 players remaining. We still have
os 3.
Along with Nasty, Strafe, and Dell.
Fica marcando aí não, aí ó. Seus amigos vão morrer. Dá pra ter levantado, agora vai morrer. Good.
CHMK, they're the ones pushing up here, and I kind of feel for Hardeki there. He worked so hard to win that team fight. He clutched up so much, and what does he have in front of him? 2 gold shields. So he's going to have no ability to potentially finish off those kills, and those players, I'm not sure if they got rezzed or if they managed to stay alive, but Artico is going to be taken down. Sanya in the feed. Only 3 squads remaining. Hardeki is still in this game as he takes down Taylor. And now we're going to see Nasky again set up for success. They are our team at the moment, Jameson, who are top of the leaderboards.
Yeah, there are also on ultimate high ground here, looking to make this push now. As
o Caos já morreu.
And they need to clear some of these gold knockdown shields just to be able to secure the top 2 finish at the very least.
The ult going to be used here, that's going to give CHMK the opportunity to potentially move up, but that is going to slow him down very much. Has to queue out of that position to try and stay alive, restabilize.
Cadê o game?
Escondido. Is going to be closing in. They are safe where they are. They managed to get the Watson ult down as well, which means that they will be pretty safe as far as grenades and any projectiles that get dropped onto them. But one player
deve ter pegado o laço.
But there is a player with a gold knockdown shield there, which means that this fight goes down. That's an easy second place unless he gets fallen.
Devia ter usado.
HMK have located him, and they will be able to clean up that kill as and when they need to.
That hard deck
Ferrou.
for Gambit here, and so maybe his hard efforts will work out for them, especially if you can compare top 2 right now. Nasty, Strafe, and Dell, though, they are set up on this platform. They've got the Watson trap set up. They've got the generator even behind cover, and so they're going to be able to utilize this well. Rugby will finally finish off Hardeki, so it's going to be a clean 3v3 to finish out this last game.
So here we go then. 1 minute 13, I'm going to see the push before they're forced to be able to move.
Já morreu,
Can be used as well. Maybe she's trying to get a cheeky flank, or maybe it's just a distraction here. We're going to see the snake.
É o Gambit. É o Gambit.
Doing so much damage, 74 on the Wraith. He gets taken down just before he manages to get back through that portal. So a huge play there from Strafe. Now they can push in. Now they can get aggressive. Now they can finish off this game. It is just
É o Gambit.
from Rugby here left to deal with, but surely there is no way. No, he has the gold back, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He will.
Entendi nada,
the game is over, and what a fantastic performance again from Nasky, Strafe, and Dell, and that will extend.
Beleza, vamos parar de assistir e vou jogar. Alex, tá pronto?
And I'm happy to really be able to eat my words at the end there. I said that Nasty, Strafe, and Dell getting slowed down because they did end up losing one early on in the early game.
E aí, Alex, tá pronto ou não? Bora? Vou abrir aqui. Vou jogar um pouco, senão eu vou dormir desse jeito. Cansado. Preciso pôr pra carregar. O celular, senão vai travar. Ih, acho que já acabou, hein? Não, tá aqui. Não, primeiro não. Trocando aqui e testando. Então vamos lá. Fecha isso aqui. Fechar Steam, não tem problema. Pronto. Vamos lá. Que sono, mano. Enquanto vocês pegam uma água de novo, porque até demora demais. Ah, tá aqui. Sei que não tava. E aí? Bagunça, mas... Aqui. Deixa eu ver se tá legal assim. Beleza. Vou baixar um pouco. Aqui. Perfeito. Deixa eu desligar esse aqui, que senão não vou ver ninguém falando no chat. Beleza. Vou pra baixo nessa. Beleza. Nossa, pra baixo mais aqui. Deixa eu ver, deixa eu ver. Beleza. Aqui não. Não, mano, não fica tela cheia. Não ficou.
Sending out my decoy.
Ah, ele sobe ou não? Tem que fazer ele subir. sobe. No lugar. Isso aí. Deixa eu parar aqui na frente. Ixi, não subiu.
Bam goes the boozle. Sending out another me. Damn it, he's good looking.
É. Fiquei melhor. Melhor. Errei. Nossa, com essa aqui é melhor? Pessoa minha? Parece, vamos ver. Nossa. Muito melhor que essa aqui. 2x que é 1x. Ó. Eu acho, não sei. Será que eu tô fazendo besteira? Viu? Agora variou. Não mexi nada, ele tá variando. Deixa assim. Não mexi nada ainda. É.
decoy escape? Bamboozles for the fools. That was better in my mind.
Deixa eu ver se tem alguma coisa pergunta. Não, carregador. Não, sei se tem pergunta não. De bom, melhor. Deixa eu ver. Eu vi mensagem agora, velho. Foi mal. Estamos saindo. E aí? E aí? Tô sendo só. Alô? Alô? E aí? Tá escutando? Tá escutando?
Tá me ouvindo aí? Tá me ouvindo aí?
Agora eu tô. Bora. Tá escutando bem aí? Então tá. Beleza, mudou.
You can call me Bloodhound. I make this look good. I'm literally this hair, this face. I mean, come on.
This is your champion.
Drawing my experiment below. Oh yeah, master of the jump right here.
Pula aí.
Get ready, moving out.
Next ring's far. Hope you like exercise.
Attention, first blood.
Does that body shield here? Level 1.
I'm running out of ideas. Yeah, I could use that.
There is a new kill leader.
Someone's got to take out the new kill leader. They're too cocky.
Body shield here. Level 2. L-Star here.
Ô, Rodrigo. Aqui.
Gotta hop up here. Hammer
O que
point.
foi? Ah, tá.
Spitfire here.
Uhum.
I need an extended heavy mag.
Flatline here.
Got shotgun ammo. Shotgun
Evo
ammo
shield here. Level 1.
Listen up. The ring be closing in 1 minute.
Attention. There is a new kill leader.
Be aware of the new kill leader.
Might be something good this way. 45. Ring ain't close. I need a knockdown shield.
Extended light mag here. Level 2.
Might be some deep.
Optics here. Close range.
Cancel that.
Ah, mano. Que lag.
I need an extended light mag. I need an extended light mag.
Attention. There is a new kill
Vamos
leader.
pra safe.
Careful. New kill leader.
Warning. Ring closing.
Ring.
Deixa eu fazer um negócio. Configurações. Saída. 1200.
Blessed be the sight.
Care package delivered.
Looks like a care package is coming in. Big things in that. Recharging my shields.
Scanning the area.
Tem um drop ali, ó.
Check out over there. Don't be afraid to look at your map. We're spread out a bit.
Tem um drop chegando ali.
Let's explore this way. Never mind. There's a jump tower over there. Just
All Father, give me sight.
Pegou já?
Battle stabilizer here.
I need
Level 2. I need an extended heavy mag. I need a hop up. Skull piercer. Extended heavy mag. Standard stock here. Level 2. I'll take that. R99 here. Dibs.
Kill leader eliminated.
Light ammo here.
R301 here. Never mind, forget that.
Tem aqui, ó, 99.
R99 here. P2020 here.
Barrel stabilizer here. Level 1.
Backpack here. Level 2.
Calling in a lifeline package.
Sending out another me. Damn, he's good looking.
Round 2. Beginning ring countdown.
Gente fightando aqui.
Thanks.
Optics here. Mid-range. Let's go this way.
Go bamboozle.
Enemy spotted.
Copy that. Heads up, got one here.
I heard that.
Heads up.
Na corda aqui, ó, no zipline subindo.
Hostile over there.
Faking him out with a decoy. 1 minute remains. The ring is closed. Marking our surroundings. Just box here. Hostile spotted.
Cuidado, espera, tá puxando.
Get out there and bamboozle.
Bora lá, mano.
Arcstar out. Scanning the area. Frag out. Go bamboozle. Bamboozle. Full.
Closing.
In combat. I downed the hostile. Not even.
Tem outro squad nas costas, cuidado. Ah, pegou o portal do cara. Merda. Voltei. Merda é essa? Ah, que merda, que merda. Pois é, filho.
Pop the smoke, make 'em broke. I've got everything you need. This is your champion. Don't matter what you run, just how you use it. Hey, I'm the jump master. Ready up.
You got bamboozled.
I'm the jump master. This time. Might be something good this way. Contact with hostile.
2 squads. E foi.
Round 1. Beginning ring countdown.
Next ring's not very close.
Você tem arma?
Contact.
Não tem.
Tem.
Opening fire.
Tem um dourado.
Chegando aí.
First blood. Eliminated. Tastes like victory. The champion made a poor choice.
Ah, mano. Ah, valeu. Galerinha, valeu. Vou fechar a live porque tá